Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Justice delayed is justice denied, says Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on his decision to disqualify rebel JDU MP Sharad Yadav and Ali Anwar. Explains that disqualification of a member of legislature should be decided within 3 months to prevent political defections. No link between Ram Janmabhoomi and elections, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi while campaigning in Gujarat. Congress and Sunni Waqf Board also distanced themselves from Counsel Kapil Sibbal's stand in the Supreme Court. RBI keeps key rates unchanged. In its fifth bi-monthly policy for financial year 2017-18, retains economic growth forecast for the current fiscal to 6.7% while raising inflation forecast between 4.3 and 4.7%. And US President Donald Trump ignores all calls for peace in the Middle East, make an announcement later today on shifting Israel's capital to Jerusalem. US State Department to initiate multi-year process to relocate US Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Well, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu today spoke out on his reportedly swift decision to disqualify rebel JDU MP Sharad Yadav and Ali Anwar. On the 4th of December, the chairman disqualified the two JDU rebels from the Rajya Sabha on a petition filed by the JDU on September 2nd. The decision was one of the most prompt ones taken in the history of the Rajya Sabha. However, some left leaders questioned the motive. Stating that justice delayed is justice denied, the chairman said disqualification of a member of the legislature should be decided by the presiding officer in about 3 months to thwart political defections. He also said that such applications were dragged with a view to save the membership of the persons who have otherwise incurred disqualification, or even to save the government, which enjoys majority only because of such type of persons. The JDU had sought disqualification of Sharad Yadav and Ansari, claiming that they revolted against the party.
I passed an order on a disqualification within 3 months. And then I gave a strong opinion at the end saying that such petitions should be decided in around 3 months. Because the disqualification petitions that are filed, some of them were pending 4 years. And then order is given after 4 years, 6 months, because 6 months anyhow, again you are going for election. There were instances where people have to go to Supreme Court. So when I passed this order, I thought there will be welcome across the country, of course. People are welcoming it. Some people question why this alarcity. Why this alarcity within the 3 months the chairman has given order. The justice delayed is denied.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi accused the Congress of linking the Ram Temple issue to the Lok Sabha elections and also attacked senior leader Kapil Sibbal's arguments in the Supreme Court for deferring hearing the matter till after the polls of 2019. However, both the Congress and the Waqf Board has cleared their stand on the matter. Here's a detailed report.
સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટ પર તમે બીજી વકીલની દલીલો કરો ને ભાઈ, બંધારણની કલમો ટાંકો. લોકસભાની ચૂંટણી છે માટે અને કોઈ વકફ બોર્ડ ચૂંટણી લડે છે ભાઈ? કોંગ્રેસ વાળા કહે છે આ તો કપિલ સિબ્બલનો પોતાના વિચારો છે. શું વકફ બોર્ડ ચૂંટણી લડે છે? ચૂંટણી લડવાના વિચારો વકફ બોર્ડના છે? અરે ચૂંટણી કોંગ્રેસ પાર્ટી લડે છે અને તમને લાગે છે કે સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટની અંદર રામ મંદિરનો જે કંઈ નિર્ણય થાય એના કારણે એમને રાજકીય લાભ અને ગેરલાભ આ જોવાનું કે ભારતનું ભલું થાય એ જોવાનું હોય.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi commenting on Kapil Sibbal's court argument that the hearing on the Ayodhya case be deferred till the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Sibbal is representing the Sunni Waqf Board in the Ayodhya dispute. Prime Minister Modi was addressing an election rally in Gujarat's Dhanduka, where he questioned the logic behind Sibbal's argument, asking how the two issues are linked.
સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટની અંદર રામ મંદિરનો જે કંઈ નિર્ણય થાય એના કારણે એમને રાજકીય લાભ અને ગેરલાભ આ જોવાનું કે ભારતનું ભલું થાય એ જોવાનું હોય.
However, the Sunni Waqf Board was quick to disown Kapil Sibal's argument and said that it had never asked for deferment of the case till 2019. Even the Congress party has distanced itself from Sibal's stand, stating that he was there as a lawyer and not a party person.
कपिल साहब तो मेरे ज़रूर वकील हैं, मगर सवाल ये है कि हमारे उनके वर्ड्स से कभी ये भी झलकता है कि वो एक किसी पार्टी के लीडर हैं। मैं वकील की हैसियत से उनको जानता हूँ, मैं पार्टी की हैसियत से नहीं जानता हूँ, लेकिन उनका कहना गलत है। मैं चाहता हूँ इस मसले को जल्द से जल्द फैसला हो जाए। बस
सर, क्या आपको लगता है कि आप लोगों से बात करके उन्होंने नहीं ये बात करी?
बात तो बहुत हुई थी, लेकिन ये बातें सामने नहीं आई थी।
सोच के बोलना चाहिए, मेरी सलाह है उनको, क्योंकि उनके तो कैबिनेट के कुलीग्स हैं जिन्होंने पता नहीं किस किस के मुकदमे लिए हैं। मैंने अभी बताया, पत्रकार सम्मेलन में भी बताया। तो अगर उनको सिद्धांतिक रूप में आपत्ति है कि कौन वकील किसका मुकदमा लड़े, अगर वो किसी दल का हो तो दल कार्रवाई करे, तो कर लो कार्रवाई फिर अपने मंत्रियों पर।
On Tuesday, the Supreme Court had adjourned the hearing in the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid title dispute case to the 8th of February next year. The apex court also rejected the submission of the Sunni Waqf Board and others that hearing of appeals in the case be conducted in July 2019 after the general elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, today marks the 25th anniversary of the demolition of the disputed structure in Ayodhya. Massive security was in place in Ayodhya and neighbouring cities to maintain peace. On the occasion, leaders of various political parties revisited the incident. The residents of the city advocated for a quick resolution of the Mandir Masjid dispute.
Security was stepped up in Ayodhya on Wednesday, the 25th anniversary of the demolition of the disputed structure in the city. Security forces across the country were also on high alert following the centre's advisory asking states to maintain peace and ensure that there is no incident of communal violence. Political leaders condemned the incident that triggered communal violence all over the country in 1992.
25 साल हो गए हैं बाबरी मस्जिद को तोड़ दिया आरएसएस बीजेपी वालों ने और आज तक किसी को सजा नहीं दी।
वहाँ पर तो राम जन्मभूमि ही है, अब वो 25 साल हो गए और लग जाए तो क्या दिक्कत है।
Incidentally, the 25th anniversary of the demolition of the Mughal-era structure comes a day after the matter came up for hearing in the Supreme Court. The apex court deferred the matter till February 2018, once again leading to a war of words between the two rival parties, the BJP and the Congress. However, people in Ayodhya feel the issue has been deliberately kept alive by political parties to seek votes. They want the Mandir Masjid dispute to be resolved soon. The main litigants in the case also want a quick resolution.
हमारे भारत का संविधान है कि सर्वधर्म समभाव ही भारत का अस्तित्व है। जब इसमें विखंडता आ जाएगी तो भारत नाम इसमें समाप्त हो जाएगा। नेता लोग इसमें राजनीति बहुत ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि हिंदू और मुसलमान को लड़ा करके अपनी खिचड़ी खूब बढ़िया से पका करके खा रहे हैं और हम लोग बैठ करके तमाशा देख रहे हैं।
मुकदमा ख़त्म हो, किसी के हक में फैसला जाए, ये मसला ख़त्म हो जाएगा, नहीं जैसे चलता रहेगा।
On 6 December 1992, the disputed structure in Ayodhya, a Mughal-era structure, was razed to the ground by hundreds of car sevaks. Several right-wing groups claim that the mosque was built on a site where the Ram temple once stood before it was destroyed by Mughal rulers. The event had set off riots after protests against the demolition turned violent. Nearly 200 people had died in the clashes, one of the worst in India till date. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, some news on the economy now. The Reserve Bank of India has kept the repo rate unchanged in its fifth bi-monthly policy for the financial year 2017-18. The apex bank raised the inflation forecast for the remainder of the current financial year to 4.3 to 4.7%. The RBI also retained the economic growth forecast for the current fiscal to 6.7%. Here are the details.
The central bank did not bring reprieve to loan borrowers as the Monetary Policy Panel voted in favour of a status quo. The repo rate, or the rate at which RBI lends to the banks, has been retained at 6% and reverse repo rate at 5.75%. The cash reserve ratio, which is the amount of deposits banks park with RBI, is also unchanged at 4%.
The MPC took note of the upside pressures from food and fuel prices on evolving cost of living conditions and inflation expectations. Our surveys indicate that corporates are also contending with rising input cost conditions and higher risks of pass-through to retail prices in the near term.
The RBI has also said that shortfalls in Kharif production and Rabi sowing pose downside risks to the outlook for agriculture. However, it indicated pickup in credit growth in recent months and stressed that recapitalization of public sector banks may help improve credit flows further.
That large distressed borrowers are being referenced to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code proceedings. Public sector banks are being recapitalized, and this should enhance allocative efficiency. In the view of the MPC, all these factors should help to create conducive financial conditions for nurturing higher growth.
Reacting to the announcement, Sensex closed 205 points lower at 32,597, while Nifty fell 74 points to 10,044. Industry leaders also seemed disappointed.
We feel sad, the industry is sad that the RBI has only been focusing and concentrating on containing the inflation. If you see the inflation for the last many months, that the inflation is absolutely under control.
5 of 6 MPC members voted in favor of a status quo, while 1 voted for a policy rate reduction of 25 basis points. The committee had last cut the key lending rate by 25 basis points in August this year.
The RBI has left its policy stance neutral. That leaves the door open for a rate move at its next meeting in February. The RBI has also cautioned of lurking inflation worries amid signs of surging fuel prices. Reporting from Delhi, with camera person DK Pandey, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, the nation remembered Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar on his death anniversary today. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to Baba Saheb at Parliament House lawns. Other leaders, including former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Union Ministers Rajnath Singh and Thawar Chand Gehlot, and Congress leader Mallikarjuna Kharge also paid tributes to Ambedkar. In Mumbai, meanwhile, thousands of followers paid rich tributes to Baba Saheb at his memorial Chaitya Bhumi. Maharashtra Governor Vidyasagar Rao and Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis also visited Chaitya Bhumi near Shivaji Park in Dadar. The architect of the Indian Constitution passed away on this day in 1956. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that we should reshape our country to ensure all citizens have essential freedoms enshrined in our constitution. He was addressing the 211th Martyrdom Day of Shaheed Jai Rajguru, organized by the Odisha Forum in Delhi on Wednesday. Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and other dignitaries were also present. The Vice President said that Rajguru made the supreme sacrifice of his life on this day for the independence of our country, sparking a massive war against the British in Odisha and other parts of the country. Well, here's a look now at some other news in Nationwide. Uttar Pradesh has become the first state to endorse the centre's draft bill that makes instant triple talaq a cognizable and non-bailable offence. The draft law provides for 3 years imprisonment and a fine to a Muslim man trying to divorce his wife by uttering talaq 3 times. The UP government approved the proposal at a meeting of the state cabinet chaired by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath late on Tuesday. A premature baby who was delivered in Delhi's Max Hospital and wrongly declared dead last week has died during treatment. The family has now demanded that the doctors of Max Hospital be arrested for negligence. A panel formed by the Delhi government to look into the case on Tuesday found Max Hospital guilty of not following prescribed medical norms in dealing with newborn infants. Seven Maoists, including 5 women, were gunned down in an encounter with the police in Maharashtra's Gadchiroli district on Wednesday. As per police officials, the skirmish took place in the Zinganur forest near Khalid village. A search operation has been launched and the bodies of Maoists are being retrieved from the forest. The National Green Tribunal today directed the Delhi, Haryana and Punjab governments to file a detailed action plan by Thursday on how to tackle air pollution. During the hearing, the Delhi government filed an action plan suggesting that the odd-even rule for rationing private vehicles will be implemented without exemptions, but the NGT asked the Government Council to file a detailed report, including details of exemptions given in the vehicle rationing plan. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
One of the most influential revolutionaries of Indian freedom struggle, Shaheed Bhagat Singh. Born into a Sikh family, patriotism flowed in his blood at the age of 13. When he formed Naujawan Bharat Sabha to spread the message of revolution in Punjab. In the wake of avenging Lala Lajpat Rai's death, Bhagat Singh and his associates coined the catchphrase Inqilab Zindabad. But towards the end of their rebellion, they had to pay a heavy price for their patriotism. Following the blast at the corridors of the assembly, both Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt courted arrest. Bhagat Singh was sent to the gallows in Lahore with his fellow comrades, after which he was cremated in Husainiwala on the banks of Satluj.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, India's global initiative, the International Solar Alliance, became a legal entity today, with 19 countries already ratifying its framework and a total of 121 countries situated between Tropics of Cancer and Capricorn being a part of it. India seems to be taking lead in fighting against the carbon emissions. The alliance, led by India and France, aims to promote the rollout of solar technology and solar energy uptake amongst countries that lie in the sun-rich belt between the tropics. The international intergovernmental body has 18 founding members, with its headquarters at the National Institute of Solar Energy in India. French President Emmanuel Macron is expected to time his maiden official bilateral visit to India with the inaugural summit event next year. Over 1 billion people have no access to electricity, and the ISA hopes to provide alternate clean energy access for developing countries to meet their growing needs. Well, in a move which could fuel regional tensions in the Arab world, Donald Trump will recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital on Wednesday. Even as Israel welcomed the move, there is outrage in Palestine over the decision. In taking this action, Trump will fulfill a major campaign promise, doing what every US president has avoided since 1948.
In a decision which upends decades of US policy and risks fueling violence in the Middle East, US President Donald Trump will recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital on Wednesday. With Trump's announcement, the US State Department will also initiate the multi-year process to relocate the US Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. While Israel has welcomed the move, Palestinians and Arab leaders have warned that moving the American embassy to Jerusalem could have dangerous repercussions.
The president's very committed to the Middle East peace process. He has a team that he put in place almost immediately upon entering the White House. That team has been working very diligently on new approaches to the peace process.
World leaders too have expressed apprehensions over Trump's decision. China has warned that the decision could fuel tensions in the region. The British Foreign Secretary has said that he was concerned about planned US recognition of Jerusalem, while Turkey too has called the decision unlawful.
Land einer der wunderbarsten Verfassungen dieser Welt wird regiert von einem Mann, der mittlerweile, das muss man so offen sagen, die Grundpfeiler einer freiheitlichen globalen Grundordnung in Frage stellt.
对地区矛盾可能激化感到担忧。耶路撒冷地位问题复杂敏感，各方都应着眼于地区的和平与安宁。
Amerika Büyükelçiliğini Kudüs'e taşıma niyetinde olduğunu ifade ediyor veya İsrail'in başkenti olarak Kudüs'ün tanınması ihtimalinden bahsediliyor.
You know, we view the reports that we've heard with concern because we think that Jerusalem obviously should be part of the final settlement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, a negotiated settlement that we want to see, and we have no plans ourselves to move our embassy.
The city's fate is one of the thorniest issues between Israel and the Palestinians. Israel has always regarded Jerusalem as its capital city, while the Palestinians claim East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state. In recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital, the United States will become the first country to do so since the foundation of the state in 1948. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Russia has been banned from the 2018 Winter Olympic Games. The decision by the International Olympic Committee has been taken over Russia's alleged state-orchestrated doping program. However, clean Russian athletes would be allowed to compete, but under the Olympic flag.
The Executive Board of the International Olympic Committee resumed its two-day meeting in Lausanne on Wednesday, hours after banning Russia from the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Games. The Russian Olympic Committee has been banned from competing after it was found there was unprecedented systematic manipulation of the anti-doping system. However, in a bid to protect innocent athletes, Russians can compete as Olympic athletes of Russia as long as they can show they have a doping-free background.
We think that these clean Russian athletes can be more about building a bridge into the future of a cleaner sport than erecting a new wall between Russia and the Olympic movement.
The IOC has also decided to suspend Russian Olympic Committee President Alexander Zhukov as an IOC member, while Russian Deputy Prime Minister Vitaly Mutko, who was sports minister at the time of the Sochi Games, was also banned from any future participation at the Olympics.
Сразу скажу, достаточно противоречивая. Там есть как положительные, так и отрицательные стороны. Если говорить о положительных сторонах, то Международный олимпийский комитет допустил всех российских спортсменов, чистых российских спортсменов.
While most countries have supported the action against systemic doping, they have also called for protection of the rights of individual athletes.
我想中国政府一贯坚持反对使用兴奋剂的立场。同时，我们也认为必须保护所有干净运动员的合法权益，维护体育运动的。
It's a very strong statement by the IOC, and it's an appropriate statement. I think what we saw in Sochi was clearly a disgrace, what happened there at those games by the host nation, and I'm delighted that the IOC has come out with such a strong response.
The ban has fueled speculation that Moscow could instruct its athletes to boycott the games altogether, thus rejecting the compromise solution. However, IOC President Bach said an Olympic boycott has never achieved anything, insisting that given the window left open for clean athletes to compete, a boycott was also unwarranted. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the third and final test between India and Sri Lanka ended in a draw. India, however, won the three-match test series 1-0. Dhananjaya De Silva scored a century that helped Lanka to end the final match in a draw. De Silva scored 119 runs before getting retired hurt. Thereafter, Roshan Silva and Niroshan Dickwella batted till the end, with Roshan scoring 74 not out and Dickwella scoring 44. The Lankans started the day with 7 wickets in hand and a whole day to bat. Ravindra Jadeja dismissed Angelo Matthews early in the day. After lunch, Ravichandran Ashwin got skipper Dinesh Chandimal on 36 runs. But the Lankans managed to score 299 runs for the loss of 5 wickets to end the game in a draw.
And they are running quick.
And in news just coming in now, India are through to the semi-finals of the Hockey World League final with a 3-2 shootout victory over Belgium. The scores were tied 3 apiece at regulation time. India scored through Gurjant Singh, Harmanpreet Singh and Rupinder Pal Singh. However, Belgium equalized each time thereafter. India, who had an inconsistent run in the pool stages of the tournament, finished bottom of Pool B with 1 point from their 3 matches. Belgium, on the other hand, were in prime form, topping Pool A with 9 points.
Well, Cedric, sum that up in 10 seconds. Well, heart attack.
And here are some updates now from the world of sports and Sports Beat. India won the first ever South Asian Regional Badminton Team Championship in Guwahati. India defeated Nepal 3-0. Aryaman Tandon defeated Nepal's Dipesh Dhami 21-9, 21-15 in the boys singles event. While in the girls singles event, Ashmitha Chaliha beat Rashliha Maharajan 21-9, 21-6. In the boys doubles, the Indian duo of Arintab Dasgupta and Krishna Prasad defeated Nepal's Dipesh Dhami and Nabin Shrestha to seal victory for India. After star boxer MC Mary Kom resigned as National Sports Observer a week ago, double Olympic medalist Sushil Kumar has also quit his role as a National Sports Observer for wrestling. He was among the 12 national observers appointed in March this year. The Sports Ministry accepted their resignations and said as both Mary Kom and Sushil Kumar are still active in their respective fields, they cannot be appointed observers. Australia clinched a 120-run victory over England in the second Ashes Test on Day 5 at Adelaide Oval, taking the lead to 2-0. The bowlers changed the game for Australia after they failed to enforce a follow-on. Nathan Lyon picked 4 wickets while Mitchell Starc picked 3. Chasing a target of 345 runs, England's captain Joe Root top scored with 67 runs, while the last 6 wickets fell for just 57. Chelsea surrendered the top spot in the Champions League Group C after they drew 1-1 at home against Atletico Madrid. Chelsea, who had already secured their place in the knockout phase, finished second in the group behind AS Roma. Saul Niguez scored the opener in the 56th minute to give Atletico a 1-0 lead over Chelsea. But a goal in the 75th minute by Atletico defender Stefan Savic equalized the score, making it 1-1. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.